Tonight's show is all about the Export Credit Guarantee Department, henceforth known as the ECGD. And what they do is they provide underwriting, financial underwriting from the taxpayers' money to support firms who are exporting overseas. And what happens is if the country they export to default, they get the money within 30 days of the default. It's coughed up by the taxpayer. The country who defaulted, they get a big hike on the interest rate and it gets dumped on their world debt. Right, it's kind of, the simple way of understanding it is kind of like an insurance scheme for arms dealers. Right, that's what it is. All these kids going, how the fuck do we get? I've got AK-47s, I've got a couple of tanks. Oh, hello, ECGD. Lovely. That's how it... That's basically how it works. And last year, 52% of their business was arms sales, right, out of a 3 billion quid underwriting allowance. The ECGD is responsible for generating 96% of developing countries' debt owed to Britain. Quite a bit. And we wanted to chat to... we phoned up the Nigerian High Commission, said, can we talk to you about investment and debt? We're from Channel 4. And they said, said, well, we'd quite like to, but we've had a problem with Channel 4 in the past because what's happened is they were going to do some programmes about it and we thought they were going to be supportive programmes and they put the knife in and they deceived us and we were quite upset by this. And I said, well, I can assure you that won't happen with me. And I don't think it did. I don't think it did. We get into the Nigerian High Commissioner, right? We speak to him. And I said, how much money does Nigeria owe? How big is its debt? 31 billion is how much that... 31 billion? You need a man to do the noughts when you do that. 31 billion, I'll put the noughts on, lovely.
We got our independence in 1960. At that time, we were owing nothing. Up till 1971, we owed nothing. But by the end of 1980, we were owing 3.5 billion only. But that 3.5 billion in 1980 has now translated into 31.5 billion today. Why? Accumulated principal and interest and the penalties for non-payment brought it up to that.
And I said, how much money do you owe Britain? And he said, nearly 4 billion. And I said, and how much of that loan came from the Export Credit Guarantee Department? He said, about 98%. And he said, Britain's not writing off any of our debts. And he said, there's all sorts of reasons, but one of the reasons is they're concerned about corruption, military dictatorship.
There has been some cases of mismanagement in the past, but this government is saying, forgive us all our sins. And we have stopped, and we promise to stop any act of mismanagement. Corruption will go, good government will be there, democracy will be all right, everything will be okay. And it's already going on.
And I said, just out of interest, did they mention any of this stuff about, dictatorships and corruption when they lent you the money? Strangely, no. And so I was sitting there and I said, look, last year you paid this load of money into the World Bank to pay off your debt. The World Bank split it up and Britain got about 5 grand was repaid, which is like spitting into the Thames. And 5 grand, I said, there's better ways to spend your money because we've worked it out that if Nigeria put £1 a week on the national lottery in Britain and won the national lottery every week, it would take a century for the debt to be cleared.
That's quite interesting.
And I said, in fact, what we've done is to help you along, I've bought a year's supply of lottery tickets. And if we win any money, I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We've got... Can you choose the numbers? We'll just choose the numbers.
You just choose any number.
Well, you've mentioned 30, because that was the 30th of November.
Yes.
The President's visited on the 13th, so we'll go for the 13th.
Yes.
The 16th of February is when you become...
Yes,
you get your credentials.
To the Queen.
Okay, and 2 more.
Today's date is 21.
Okay, 21. Yeah? Can I ask how old you are?
Oh, 65.
Well, we'll bring that down and we'll say 49.
49.
Okay. I had a little chat and we talked about debt and what it meant, and he agreed to do something for us. I'd like you to give me that shirt, and I will literally take that shirt, I will go to as high as I can and say, this shirt is given to me by the Nigerian High Commissioner, because if you don't cancel the debt, you're taking the shirt off Nigeria's back. And I will show them the shirt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The guy who runs the Export Credit Guarantee Department is a guy called Vivian Brown. And you think, OK, we need to get to talk to this guy, Vivian Brown, but he's quite hard to get to talk to on camera. He's quite difficult. Until we found out that Vivian Brown was attending a banker's banquet in the City of London. Mr. Brown, hello there. It's Mark Thomas here. Listen, I've got this from an official from a heavily indebted country and he wanted you to have it. It's just the shirt off his back. Would you take the shirt? It's just the shirt off his back that he wanted me to pass it on to you, if that's at all possible. Can I just pass that? Can I pass that through? Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown? Would you like to take this? Mr. Brown, would you like to take this at all? How shall I pass it to you? Mr. Brown, how shall I pass this on to you? Should I just, Sorry, should I just leave it with someone, or...? Oh, sorry. I do, that's all right.
Are you sure you don't know the way to the dinner?
Yeah, no. I'm just wondering if you want... Where should I leave the shirt for you? Shall I post it to the tower? Shall I post it through?
Hello.
Is that Sure. I'm not sure where I should leave it with, though, Mr. Brown.
Jones, your name, sir, please?
Hello, Vivian Brown.
Mr. Vivian Brown.
I've got to fess up. I think we missed a trick there, because we didn't think we'd get that far. Right, and if I'd thought we'd get that far, I would have just gone up to the bloke and just whispered in his ear and gone, Mr. Mark Thomas from Channel 4, chasing Mr. Vivian Brown from the Export Credit Guarantee Department, responsible for 96% of the third world debt. Mr. Mark Thomas trying to make a comical point with the use of a shirt. And his crew. The second example is Ghana, okay? The Treasury didn't want to write off Ghana's debts. They said, no, they seem to be managing fine. They're servicing the debt. So much so that we've lent them another 200 million over the past 5 years. And you think, oh, hang on a minute, what do you mean servicing the debt? All right, they've got into heavily indebted poorest country status, but they seem to be doing all right. They're paying it off. And this is the price. They're doing all right on paying off the debt. And it costs each person in Ghana each year $28 in debt repayments. For the same time, each person each year in Ghana gets $10 for education. For the same person in Ghana each year, they get $6 for health. There's a rather big difference in the two figures there. We wanted to find out how much Ghana had borrowed and how many projects had been backed by the ECGD in the last 5 years. 2 official sets of figures. There it is. This is from the parliamentary answer. They said 19,219 million. And then from the ECGD, they say 12,173 million. That means that they've lost 46 million. How the fuck can you lose 46 million? You know, they're that bloke on the advert just standing at the top of that crane chucking money away. Everyone does this every day. It's crazy. And basically what you've got with Ghana is Nigeria about to happen. Because the guy who rules Ghana is a guy called Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings. And 1995, Ghana was in the top 10 of new markets exporting with ECGD cover. Same year, the Vice President of Ghana resigned because the President of Ghana, Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings, kicked him in the bollocks in a cabinet meeting. Kicked him in the fucking... Hint of the kind of regime, hint. You know, kick him in the bollocks. I mean, no matter how much you fucking like the Labour government, at least, you know, Prescott... I mean, you'd want to. Have we got the phone line up? Have we got the phone? Let's phone up Jerry Rawlings, because we got his number. Your Excellency, is Jerry Rawlings there, please?
Who's speaking?
My name is Mark Thomas.
Mark Thomas.
Yeah. Thomas.
Thomas. Mark. Yeah, go ahead. This is Rawlings.
Excellent. We're down in a pub in South London,